Yo, uh, part four. I'll probably take a break from doing this on camera after this one, but eh, let's get started. Let's get the screen and we'll be getting started. Also, just wait. Also, gonna be waiting for a few guests. Starting off with El Chapulín Colorado. El Chapulín Colorado is a Mexican sitcom starred by comedian Roberto Bolaños, known by his nickname Chesperito. It focuses on the adventures of the titular character, a clumsy hero whose mistakes are often proven to be the key to success in aiding his summoners. It was originally conceived as part of an earlier TV effort by Chesperito, Los Supergenios de la Mesa Cuadrada, later followed by Chesperito y la Mesa Cuadrada and Chesperito, proving popular enough to earn its own full-fledged series. Following the merger of Televisión Independiente de México, the show's broadcaster, and Telesistema Mexicano in 1973. As an independent series, over 200 episodes of in Colorado were broadcast between 1973 and 1979. From which about 41 episodes were absent from Televisa's most recent distribution for the same reason as many of episodes of its sister series, El Chavo de Ocho. The Lost Media Wiki has, and while most of the covered, and it's still quite a bit to go before the full series is found. Next up, El Chavo. Now we're going to be talking about the show's spin-off, El Chavo de Ocho. El Chavo de El Ocho. It focuses on El Chavo, an orphan 8-year-old child whose life is split between his adult neighbors and getting him in trouble with the other kids on the vecindad. The show has experimented public acclaim in Latin America, with a large portion of its fan base being comprised of viewers in Brazil. In 2020, Televisa's rights to export and sell product restrictions featuring due to legal issues between the Mexican company and the comedian's heir, Roberto Gomez Fernandez. And according to actor Edgar Vivar, best known for his role as Vecindad owner Senor Barriga, result of failed negotiations between a deal in which the network was allowed to use the character for 50 years. As the parties failed to reach an agreement and this contract was not renewed, ultimately returned to Chesperito's representative, effectively forcing Televisa to cease distribution of all productions it owns the copyright for. Although this means that it's no longer legally available for viewing and acquisition, none of this material is considered lost and thus is not covered in this article. And lots of episodes are considered lost, and like the previous show I talked about, you can look at that on your own time because there are just way too many for me to list. Next up, Emeril. Emeril was a sitcom that aired in 2001 starring famed chef Emeril Lagasse as himself of 2000. It was originally supposed to air on September 11th of that year of 2001 for obvious reasons. The series follows around the chef moving back to his fictional sitcom family and was the final major starring role for Robert Ulrich, who died of cancer just a few months later. Only 7 episodes were aired, though 11 were completed. The remaining 4 episodes, including the original pilot, have never aired. To The Retreat and My Grandmother's Cornbread have, to public knowledge, never popped up in any private collections whatsoever. 9 of the 11 filmed episodes have been found, and 2 episodes that were unaired, 10 and 11, are yet to resurface online. Eurovision Song Contest 1964. The 1964 Eurovision Song Contest will mark on March 24th, 1st of that year, and it was inspired by Italy's San Marino festival and has been held since 1956, which is also lost. Hosted by Lotte Weaver, and 16 singers from different countries performing one song each. The winner that year was Gigliola Cinquetti from Italy with a total of 49 points for her song Non Ho Letta. It was overshadowed by a political protest that happened, and most of the broadcast has become lost. Only a few videos of the broadcast exist today. Felix the Cat 1992 game. Felix the Cat was a cancelled 1992 NES and Game Boy game published and developed by Hudson Soft in North America and Europe, based on the cartoon cat of the same name. The player controls Felix as he sets out to defeat the evil Mad Professor who has kidnapped Felix's girlfriend, Kitty. Not much is known about the Japanese Famicom version. Now, while the NES and Game Boy versions are completely found, but not much is known about the Japanese Famicom version of the game, except that it was going to release on December 18th, 1992 with the price of 5 yen, but it was cancelled for unknown reasons. No prototypes or other information for the Famicom version have surfaced. However, there is intended for the game buried inside the NES release for the game. All that exists are articles. Flip Sun Valley Olympiad. This was a 1 hour Flip Wilson special aired on CBS in 1976, starring him as a host or performer in his own outrageous version of the Winter Olympics, with special guests from the worlds of comedy, music, and sports. Guest stars would include Peggy Fleming, Alex Karras, Richard Pryor, Minnie Riperton, sports figure Shelia Young, and the ice hockey team and Tiny Tot downhill racers. It was taped entirely on location in sunny Sun Valley, Idaho. The sun of the sports action would include an exciting exhibition of freestyle hot dog skiing, a downhill race for toddlers, a dog sled race, and a performance by the Sun Valley Suns hockey team. The special would even also present music and comedy performances and champions by top athletes, with commentary provided by Wilson and Karras. The special fell into obscurity as it was only aired once, not being listed with of Wilson, not even released in any form Yeah, and only stills of the special exist are available online. Ugh. Oh, I am. Friday the 13th, Part 2 deleted scenes. The 1981 cult classic horror movie Friday the 13th Part 2 was submitted a total of 8 times to the MAA, given each time an X rating. 48 seconds of violent shots were subsequently trimmed for theatrical release. In addition, at least 2 scenes were shot but never included in the final cut. The Lost Media Wiki has them. So, however, on so for a long time, fans for a long time had clamored for a fully uncut to which Paramount had stated they have long since disposed of the negatives, with the uncut version believing to have no longer existed. However, in September of 2020, Scream Factory unveiled the full extent of the bonus features on their complete Friday the 13th complete Blu-ray box set, which mentions the deleted gore footage from Friday the 13th Part 2. Samuelson Studios was responsible for tracking this down and elaborated on the process through a Facebook post. The footage originated from a VHS tape owned by the film's special effects artist, Carl Fullerton, who sought to preserve his work in the light of the heavy censorship. Fullerton asked the editors to compile the cut footage into a VHS transfer for the young artist's portfolio. The tape had reportedly been screened over the years but was currently unplayable and had to be begged to transfer the footage. While it did not have a soundtrack, the footage still retained its quality over the years. And just a month later, on October 13th, the Blu-ray box set was released, rendering the formerly lost scenes found. The box set is currently available to purchase from Scream Factory's website, along with numerous other shopping websites. Garfield and Friends original U.S. Acres title cards. Garfield and Friends was a very popular Saturday morning cartoon that ran from 1998 to 1988 to 1994. And when the popular when and was released on DVD, international prints were used. And as a result, the title cards for U.S. Acres, a segment within the show based on another crime strip by Jim Davis, their international rename, Orson's Farm. This rendered the original ones hard to find. Quickies, which was never shown in syndication. They were slowly recovered in the years. On June 22nd of 2021, all were found to be available via the Tubi and Boomerang streaming services. Lost Media Wiki user Zombillions compiled these newly discovered segments in an egregious process that involved screen capping, organization, and cross-checking meticulously over a period of multiple days, from June 23rd to June 28th of 2021. In addition, the every U.S. Acres quickly that have not been recorded and upload security. So, yeah. But thankfully, we do have these found. Gertie on tour. Gertie on Tour was an unfinished sequel to the early influential cartoonist Winsor McKay's Gertie the Dinosaur. Gertie proved that a cartoon character who could have an identifiable personality featuring impressive animation that has aged well. The unfinished animated short would have featured Gertie jumping on the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City, attempt to eat the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., wading on the Atlantic City shore, among various amounts of mischief Gertie causes. Only a small collection of scenes from the sequel has survived. It's not known exactly how much animation was completed before beyond the scenes that have survived. An early concept art showing Gertie dancing around New York City, bouncing on tall buildings, and into various other. Get Free, unreleased Rome album. Get Free was an album by Rome Ramirez's band Rome, recognizable for working with former members of the famous ska band Sublime, that was supposed to come out on August 2014, but never did. It consisted of 12 songs which were mostly original, but with a few Sublime covers. It acquired promotion and even had four singles released, those being Scream, 18, Terrorista, and If the World, beforehand, but only a handful of other materials had ended up seeing the light of day. Some other lists of songs include Doing Time for You, Where's Paradise, Crash the Party, Get Free, and Ghost. Glitterati. Glitterati is a short film directed by Roger Avery and starring Kit Pardue. He portrays the role of the Vic Ward character that appeared in Avery's 2002 film adaptation of the Bret Easton Ellis novel, The Rules of Attraction. In the film, Victor travels around Europe having surreal encounters with different people he meets. It was meant to be a lead-in to Avery's planned but ultimately unreal-life film adaptation of another Ellis novel, Glamorama, in which the Victor character is the protagonist. Glitterati has never been publicly released. When asked about the topic in an interview, Ellis stated, "For many legal reasons, it will never see the light of day. You can't really show Glitterati in public. It's not possible." There are a lot of people who would be very upset. I don't even know if they got permission from a lot of the people in it, which might be a big problem. Why it's only shown privately. Next up, Godzilla vs. Megalon NBC John Belushi skit bumpers. On March 15th, 1977, NBC broadcast nationally and in prime time the movie Godzilla, the 1973 movie Godzilla vs. Megalon, and it was the only installment of the Japanese Godzilla film franchise that had this privilege. Since the film had a goofy reputation, bumpers were filmed featuring Saturday Night Live actor and comedian John Belushi in a Godzilla suit. John Belushi as Godzilla would make snarky, though played straight for the character, remarks about the film and franchise. Ended up trashing his chair and then biting down on the movie reels. Belushi had previously played Godzilla in an SNL sketch with Gilda Radner as Baba Waba, a Broadway parody of Barbara Walters, as though the fictional monster were an actor in his own films. Given the amount of classic horror movie and monster movie parodies, first 5 years of SNL, it seemed possible that Belushi was a Godzilla fan. The broadcast was an hour long, requiring the movie to have half its 81-minute runtime. Since these bumpers aired, and when home recording was edited, it's unlikely that these bumpers will eventually resurface. Additionally, they were only shown during original broadcast, which was only rerun once or twice soon after the first one and have not been seen since. Oh, and some fun trivia. During those promos and bumpers, Belushi ends up repeating a common Godzilla film fallacy, promising that Godzilla versus Megalon will not be like his other films. Among the ones he cites is Godzilla versus Rodan. While the pre- while the while the Pteranodon like Kaiju and Godzilla have fought several times, there has never been a film by this title, making it seem like a lost Godzilla film all by itself. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters, English localization. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters was a fighting game for the Super Famicom that was released in Japan under the name Godzilla Kaiju Daiketsu in 1994, serving as a sequel to the Godzilla Battle Legends, which was released on the Turbo Duo. In the May 1995 issue of Nintendo Power, the game was announced and was going to be called Godzilla Destroy All Monsters, but advertised as having a release date during April 1995, the previous month. The game was never mentioned again. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters plays in a Street Fighter style fighting game. The game was fully finished but never released due to likely as a result of a last-minute cancellation due to the poor reception of Super Godzilla, which was another fighting game, and the impending release of the Nintendo 64. Interestingly, a Godzilla game titled Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee was released for the GameCube in 2002, but it's unknown if any physical copies or cartridges exist or not of this game. Goodnight Kiwi, Lost Animated Segments. During the 1980s and 90s, New Zealand's television stations 1 and TV2 would sign off every night with a cartoon of a kiwi, the New Zealand's national bird, signing off a TV station, turning off his console, exiting the studio, and going to sleep in the television station's satellite dish. However, the history of the sign off goes further back to the mid 1970s. 1 and TV2 would become a part of TV's NZ. Sometime around 1975, TV2 management had noticed that Australian TV station ATN7 had been signing off with a cartoon of a kangaroo putting her baby to bed every night. Amazed at the uniqueness of the sign off, management decided to hire then 53-year-old former Disney animator Sam Harvey to animate a cartoon of a kiwi doing something similar to its Australian counterpart. The Goodnight Kiwi would become a national icon of New Zealand, being used nightly in their government TV network sign-offs from June 1975 until the station went fully 24/7 in October 1994. Most of now the full things were found in 2016 and 20. The 1975 version was found in 2016, while the 1976 to 1980 version was found in 2019. So both of these are readily available to view. Half-Life Dreamcast port. Half-Life is a very popular game developed for PC by Valve and published by Sierra Studios, and has been universal acclaim. There were plans to port the game to both the PS2 and Dreamcast. While the PS2 port was eventually released, the Dreamcast port never released. But a build ended up being dated from. But a ROM of the Dreamcast port has since been made available online. Has Hawshalt Hilf Best of Hallshaltville. This was a this was a program that was broadcast on Europe between 1995 and 1996. Very little is known about the which broadcasted on the early lineup of Viva's Way, then known as Viva 2. It wasn't very popular at the time, which is likely why so little footage is available. The program is believed to have aired as part of Viva 2's lineup until the rebranding of the name Viva's Way in 1996. On a forum centered around on channels such as Viva's Way, one user mentioned a program that had been broadcast on the channel called Best of Self Shelf. Since other series on Viva 2, Viva's Way have had best of programs, it's fully possible that this had one too. Not only is there little footage of either show, there is also little information about the show in general. In fact, the only real proof of the show existing is a clip of the intro from a Viva 2 showreel tutored by Motion Graphics Dude in 2009 and an image of the show's title card. Hey, 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 it's Fat Albert. Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids was an animated series running from September 1972 to August 1985, having 114 episodes counting specials. But before the series premiered, there was a time special which was shown on November 12, 1969 and aired on NBC. It was rebroadcasted twice but presumably never saw a home video release. Followed this the Cosby Kids performing stand-up sketches from Bill Cosby's routines, much like in the actual show. And the plot would have centered around Fat Albert being made fun of by his friends because of his weight. This distances himself from them. The other kids who would then dispute an American football game against rivals, and Fat Albert would then arrive, using his weight to help his friends to win the game. Mundy and a team of animators worked 18-hour days for 6 months to meet deadlines. The animators drew directly onto cells with grease pencils, coloring each cell themselves, and they were then photographed. Live footage from Philadelphia was inserted as background, and said Filmation's Lou Scheimer, it did not work. It was a strange looking thing, and it did not have any of the values that we wanted to do ultimately in the show. While the series became very popular, the special has not been released since. The Paley Center. Now, this is where things get a little interesting. The Paley Center for Media in New York and LA has a copy of it in their collection, but you actually have to go there. And apparently recording isn't allowed. Next up. Hollywood, 1923 silent film. Hollywood, also known by its original title, Hollywood and the Only Child, is a 1923 American silent comedy film directed by James Cruise, and this year makes it the 100th anniversary. The film details the life of a young actress who goes to Hollywood with dreams of becoming a famous movie star. It was produced by Paramount Pictures with a budget of $202,000, for featuring cameos from more than 30 famous Hollywood stars such as Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle. It's widely considered to be lost. However, the screenplay is said to be available through the Margaret Herrick's collections, and a few stills and posters have survived. But that's it. Inspector Gadget, Gadget in Wonderland, Jesse White voice recording. Inspector Gadget is probably one of the most iconic 80s cartoons of all time. And the show is about bumbling bionic detective battling the criminal agency and Mad and their Dr. Claw, with the actual detective work being done by his young niece, Dog Brain. The producers cast and voice actor and announcer Gary Owens as Gadget, but afterwards re-recorded with actor Jesse White. But he did a Don Adams impression, and White was also rejected, and then Don Adams himself was cast in the role. So yeah. While the pilot with Don Adams is readily available, the Jesse White version has not surfaced to this day, and it's unknown if the audio still exists. Jeffrey Cat Claw and Order. Jeffrey Cat Claw and Order is an animated pilot created by Mark O'Hare, known for known for creating the comic strip Citizen Dog for Cartoon Network, produced by Slappy Pictures. It was one of 8 of the cartoon shorts exclusive to the Cartoon Weekend Summerfest in October 3rd, 2002, where it lost to Lowbrow, which would eventually become Mega's XLR. The plot, entitled All Dogs Don't Go to Heaven, seems P's pet investigator Jeffrey Katz solving a case involving Newsman's innocent dog that has been accused of burying a FedEx delivery man in their front yard. When he returned to the gas station to investigate, he notices a bite mark on the FedEx guy's leg. Visits the guy at the hospital to question him, only for him to admit that he didn't see the dog bite him. Jeffrey then searched Mrs. Newman's elderly neighbor, Mr. Oldman's trash, only to find his dentures in a bag and that he committed the crime just for the dog to be taken away due to its constant barking. For many years, it was the only Cartoons Weekend Summerfest pilot not made its way available online until 2015, when Daily Motion user Ben Middleton uploaded the pilot, albeit with poor audio. Jetsons the movie Janet Waldo vocal performance. In 1988, Hanna-Barbera started production on a feature film adaptation of their animated series The Jetsons the movie. The original cast was hired to reprise their roles, save for the then recently deceased Dawes Butler, who had voiced Elroy. However, at a later point in production, Universal Studios and the manager of the pop star Tiffany, who had contributed 3 songs to the soundtrack, mandated that Judy Jetson be recast, as it would help promote Tiffany's career and attract younger viewers. Janet Waldo was let go from the film, and all the lines she recorded as Judy were then re-recorded by Tiffany. Janet Waldo was upset by this turn of events, as was the casting director, Andrea Romano. The latter of the two had even asked to be left uncredited for the film due to receiving the blame for this. It was originally to be released in December 1989, but was delayed to 1990 to avoid competition with other movies. It was a box office flop, and the performance of Tiffany as Judy Jetson became widely criticized. It's unknown if Janet Waldo's vocal tracks for the film had survived to any degree, or if it was immediately wiped over or lost over time. Juliet. Juliet is an unfinished 1970 Jess Franco film starring Miranda, Paul Muller, and Albert Dalvez. The eponymous protagonist is a beautiful woman who seduces and kills men, and she goes to a church to pray for forgiveness for her crimes, where she is noticed by a local man who is drawn onto her religious fervor. Man rents a room next to Juliet's apartment and through a keyhole, witnesses her crimes unfold. Wi- Eventually, the two meet and the story ends in death and blood. Tragically, on the 18th of August 1970, Soledad Miranda was killed in a car accident in Portugal, and only 40 minutes of Juliet was shot, and the project was ultimately cancelled. The unfinished footage is rumored to have been in Franco's possession, but not much is known beyond that. And there's only one still from it. Jurassic Park trilogy deleted scenes. Jurassic Film Park is a movie that needs no introduction. And the first three films in the franchise had a number of scenes that were shortened or removed completely, and only a few have surfaced online. The Lost Media Wiki has all of each one, and scribbles the screen made a so yeah. Kablam! And off beats Valentine. Kablam is one of Nickelodeon's most coveted shows, with no home media release of any kind, aside, if you want to call it that, a release on the streaming service Paramount Plus. And Offbeats Valentine is a 1999 and a late 1980s TV special and one of the many spin-offs of the Kablam. Stories from the first half-hour TV special for Valentine's Day. The special depicts many instances of romance. For one instance, Tammy and Beth of the Populars developed a crush on each other, and that's just one. The discovery was originally uploaded on a private website. Thanks to an anonymous contributor who sent Lost Media Wiki's founder and admin Diecate the original raw file, the special has been available for its entirety for the public to see. Kids WB Crazy Take. Kids WB Crazy Takes were a collection of promos for the shows on the Kids WB. They took the form of outtake reels with clips from the shows being edited to make it look like the goof ups. They were shown in the early 2000s, but very few have resurfaced. One promo features Joey from Yu-Gi-Oh! Trying to say his lines when his hair keeps falling over his face. And the only other one's video is a more general one, featuring Uncle Chi from Jackie Chan Adventures repeatedly messing up an incantation. According to a YouTube comment on the Joey video, another Yu-Gi-Oh promo exists where Yugi's wig is blown off by a strong wind, revealing him to be bald. The commentator also revealed the characters from Kids WB shows did crossovers with other shows in some of the promos. And since this page's creation, a number of comments have appeared. First, a Lost Media Wiki contributor claims to have seen a Wolverine program where Wolverine tries to do a Yu-Gi-Oh duel but ends up getting the cards stuck in his claws. An anonymous user found another Yu-Gi-Oh promo in one of their old recordings in which James peeks out of the bushes as Yugi is having a tea. Another LMW contributor claims to have found at least one crazy on a Scooby-Doo DVD that he distinctly remembers owning. He said he would find it, but he hasn't been heard from since. Finally, another anonymous user claims to have seen a Seventh Heaven and Pokemon crazy take where Charizard blasted fire on one of the Seventh Heaven cast members who are burnt in an anime style, and also claims that a YouTuber has a video of the promo unlisted. The LMW contributor who said would find a promo on the aforementioned Scooby-Doo DVD has found a Shaolin He should upload it once he can find a way to record, as his Mac doesn't play DVDs. Also, we have ones featuring Jigglypuff from Pokemon, Jigglypuff, James, and Pikachu, Kurt and Cyclops from X-Men Evolution, Zeta from the Zeta Project, and Replicon from Static Shock. Clay World: The Invasion. Clay World is a web series of stop motion claymation videos made by Robert Benfer, aka Knox. It showcases a group of clay people, usually blue, but other colors aren't uncommon, and their antics atop the table that is their comedy, and his most subsequent similar works follow the same pattern. Clay World: The Invasion was a PC game based on the series built on the Game Studio A6. A demo of the game was published and uploaded in 2006 onto Knox's old website, Knox Corner, and was developed by an indie game developer called Mokos Games. Not much is known about Mokos Games itself, but Clay World: The Invasion was apparently the only game they had ever made, as seen in their website. And their forum website. In the website, they said the idea was made by Knox, but designed the game. The game is a first-person shooter as you play as a blue clayman in a room on a table, killing red clayman and items, those like weapons, health, and ammo. And to beat the game demo, you have to meet another blue clayman with a hat under the table, and it will play a cutscene saying you win. Only some concept art for the game has first and a mega link for the demo has been posted, but the actual game is nowhere to be found. L'Explosion. L'Explosion, also known as The Hideout in English, was a French, Belgian, Canadian, Italian crime comedy film from 1971, directed by Marc Semion, written by Alphonse Boudard, and starred Frédéric de Pasquale. The plot follows an ex-con who decides to go retrieve stolen hid years earlier in a well. However, when he returns there, he finds out that a whole holiday resort has been built on it. He has to impersonate a tourist in order to find the well. Apart from its original theater release in 1971, the movie has no known home video versions. All that is seen in official release is the soundtrack of the film, which is very rare. A Canadian TV archivist list has uploaded short YouTube short excerpts from the movie, which are viewable. And when asked, he has replied that he owns the whole movie, but he has kept it out of circulation by request of lead actress Mylène Demongeot. Laser Blast 2. This was a planned sequel to the infamous 1978 B movie Laser Blast. It was first announced in 1980, and as the years went by, various updates about the movie surfaced, saying it as being in various stages of development, but no footage was ever released. The rather sparse synopsis for the proposed film, according to a promotional, reads: The ultimate alien weapon is back and is with two seemingly innocent Boy Scouts in a small Iowa township. The incredible power of the shattering beam of the laser blaster challenges the boys and the life of their hometown forever. Charles Band had hired Michael Miner, who had previously worked on RoboCop, to help develop the movie. Miner wrote a script, and while Band liked it, he didn't feel that it was good enough to be Laser Blast 2. The script ended up being modified and turned into the unrelated film Deadly Weapon as they continued to plan for later. It reported that Michael does not own this version of the script. While working on the film studio Charles Band had financial troubles and the project was scrapped. Eventually, in the early 1990s, the full rights for the film went up for sale, and nobody knows if the rights were bought. No footage of the film is known to exist, and nothing beyond some posters have survived. The sequel has never seen the light of day. Learning Voyage. Learning Voyage was an educational PC game series. He's published, created, were a series of math was an educational PC game created by Learning Ways Inc., which is a subsidiary of David and Associates Incorporated. There were 2 games in this series: Learning Voyage Sand Trapped and Learning Voyage Swamped. No copies have shown up on Amazon and eBay, and the original versions are common. And in May 5th of 2016, YouTuber Lingy and 103 video of Sand Trap to their YouTube channel. Other names of the videos of the games have been uploaded as well, but no dumped ROMs of the to exist. But 3 years later, in March 26th of 2019, were discovered to have been uploaded by the Macintosh repository. And in April 2019, and then a few days later, on April 5th, it was discovered that the .ras files for a few Davidson games, including Sandtrap, were uploaded to a forum back in 2017. And on April 8th, Lost Media Wiki user the Discord drummer extracted the RES files and found Samtrap on it. Lego Go. Lego Go was a Russian game show in which contestants compete in various a series of Lego construction challenges, like assembling a kit without instructions, or build the highest and most stable tower of Lego bricks. And the winning team would get a sticker, but the show lasted from 1995 to 1998 and rebooted as KB Legonaut, and game rules were changed, and 3 teams would compete for the grand prize for a trip to Denmark's Legoland. Currently, only 3 episodes. Currently, only 2 episodes from Lego Go, along with 1 episode of KB Legonaut, have surfaced. That number for Lego Go was 3, but one of the videos, but the channel that uploaded the episode from December 9th, 1995 was terminated, thus making the episode lost again. In fact, there's another thing not helping this case. At the time, VHSs in Russia were hard to come by due to their high cost. And with the lack of reruns and home media releases, it's unlikely many other people recorded episodes of the show. Let's Go Quintuplets, English dub. Let's Go Quintuplets was an English dub of the anime series Go Go Itsutsugu which is a comedy anime about the adventures of five completely different quintuplets that aired on TBS in Japan between 2001 and 2002. An English dub was produced by the Ocean Group, airing at least in New Zealand on TV2. Under countries dubbed the dub for their own languages. Because of that, we don't know the segment titles of the first 12 episodes as the Russian dub is the title cards. All 50 episodes were dubbed, with each dubbed episode consisting of two segments. First two episodes were released on a dual audio European Spanish DVD, and only 16 out of 100 segments have been found, with one of the sound segment missing the beginning. So I don't know if we'll get to see the full thing. Life Without Soul. Life Without Soul was a silent American horror film released back in 1915, written by Jesse J. Goldberg, again directed by Joseph W. Smiley, the second adaptation of the Frankenstein novel. It told the tale of a wealthy physician who discovers a fluid of life to animate the dead. While reading Shelley's Frankenstein, Frawley falls asleep and dreams about animating a clay statue called the Creation, played by Percy Standing. After witnessing the horrors of the monster, Frawley awakens from his dream and destroys the elixir. This five-part film was produced by the Ocean Film Corporation and featured English-born actor Percy Darrell Standing wearing little to no makeup as the Brute Man. The film was reissued in 1916 by the Raver Film Corporation with added scientific documentary footage detailing the reproduction methods of fish. The film has been lost for many years and has not yet surfaced anywhere, and it's unknown if any copy of the film still exists. Some stills in the movie and a promotional pamphlet have resurfaced, which the latter describing the plot of the film in some detail. But that is it. Lionel Great Railway Adventures Journey of the Jupiter, LeVar Burton narration audio. These were the Lionel Great Railway Adventures were a series of children's books put out by Lionel and Learning Curve Publisher. These were written by Lynn Oliver and released from 1998 to 2000 with audio narration by LeVar Burton, who I believe is mostly known for the children's show Reading Rainbow. It consisted of 6 books in total, and each with its own audio tape, and even a toy that coincided with each book. In 2013, 5 out of the 6 narrations, The Daylight Limited, The President Express, The Torpedo Run, The Mighty Mogul, and Beezy's Big Boy, had been uploaded to YouTube by user The Yargonaut. The 5th book in the series, Jupiter Journey of the Jupiter, was the only one missing in the original narration due to its apparent rarity. It was lost until it was found by user Nigila Bodin on the Lost Media Wiki on October 24th and uploaded by The Yargonaut. Little Clowns of Happy Town. Little Clown. Little Clowns of Happy Town was an animated series that produced by Deke Entertainment. It aired on ABC from 1987 to 1988 for a total of 18 episodes. The show is about the young clowns from Happy Town down, whose goal is to spread happiness and imbue positive mental attitudes around the world wherever they go. The only thing stands in their way is Awfully Bad, the master of gloom, and his two minions, Geek and Whiner. I don't know. This was the 80s. Stuff was weird. Now, the show was released on VHS and DVD, but most of them have not seen the light of day. Well, and most of the series has been recovered. Six episodes do not have their English versions. Epi- Episodes 2 and 17 both have Korean and Arabian dubs available. Well, episode episode 8 has a growth of Korean and dub and a Russian overdub, and episodes 9, 11, and 14 are only available in Korean. It's possible that these episodes could be, but due to the fact that airing in the 80s, someone might have recorded the English versions of those episodes. But so far, that has not happened yet. Little Iodine, 1946 comedy film. Little Iodine is a comedy film directed by Regina Leborg and based on the King Features comic strip of the same name by Jimmy Hatlow. It was written by Lando and starred Joe Ann Marlowe as Little Iodine, Mark Kramer as Mark Andrews, Eve Whitney as Janus Payne, Irene Ryan, and Hobart Cavanaugh as Iodine's parents, Miss Tremble and Mr. and Mrs. Tremble. The film was released on October 20th, 1946 by United Artists. It is the only live-action adaptation of the comic strip ever made. Stays true to the form of most of the way in this film, where she does her best to break up the marriage of her parents, ruin a romance between Mark Andrews and Janice Payne, and cost her father his job. But unlike her comic based character, Iodine has a change of heart and sets out to right the wrongs. The film was going to be released earlier than October 20th, but was delayed due to many children across the United States gathering at movie theaters during a polio outbreak. The film has few differences, such as the last name being changed to Tremble, and the film is lost possibly due to King's retirement and that the prints and negatives were be destroyed after 10 years. The film was still under copyright in 1997 as its television rights were owned by Viacom. According to Wikipedia's lists of United Arts films, Little Iodine is now owned by the Mary Pickford Foundation. Love Quest, Famicom port. Love Quest is a 1995 Japan exclusive RPG game involving a weak and extremely wedding ceremony, but suddenly something went wrong at his church. As such, the mysterious force has just begun somehow. The game was planned to be released for the Famicom in 1994, priced at 78,000 yen before being moved to the Supercam because of the dying 8-bit markets. Only 4 prototypes were known to still exist. One prototype was sold for 250,000 yen on a Yahoo auction in 2008, and gameplay footage was put on NicoVideo.com. But the actual ROM for the game is still lost today. Okay, last one I'm going to do right now. Magical Do Re Mi Ocean Studios English dub. Magical Do Re Mi, or Oja Moja Do Re Mi, is a magical girl anime that ran by Toei for 51 episodes from 1999 to 2000. It was in 2003. The New York-based 4Kids Entertainment licensed the first entry. The company produced an English dub that had a short-lived run on their Fox Kids 4Kids Fox Saturday morning block between 2005 and 2006 before being ultimately finished as a web exclusive. However, earlier attempts date back to at least 1999 when the Canadian studio Ocean did it. The no footage of this dubbed pilot has surfaced. And that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry no guest this time. But I will see you